I found myself exhausted after doing all this analysis. So I put the spreadsheet down and decided to think about this a little bit. My fish preservation strategy indicates that I can save enough salted fish to get me through my 10 years of retirement. However, this result was based on several assumptions that may not be correct. I am planning on being able to catch 50 fish 6 days a week every day that I fish. But I do not yet have enough experience to know whether or not I can catch fish at that rate reliably. This strategy also assumes that I can gather enough salt in one day to salt 40 fish instead of 20. I have not tried to carry back 40 fish worth of salt at one time. I only have experience in gathering salt for 20 fish a day for 6 days a week, considering I would only gather salt 1 day per week. In order to have this plan work out, I will need to be able to bring back 6 days worth of salt for 40 fish instead. Possibly the most risky part of this strategy is my assumption that only 10% of my salted fish will go bad during any year. So far, I have no experience salting fish for that long a period of time. If the loss rate is higher than 10%, my plan will fail. The final unknown at this point is whether or not I can actually survive by just eating salted fish for 10 years. I have lots of experience eating raw potatoes over long periods of time, but I have no experience eating lots of salted fish for a long period of time. One flaw in my analysis involves the food that I will need to eat on the days that I go to gather salt. I will either need to take food with me for that day, or I'll have to get lucky enough to find a tuna fish in the funny body of water beside my beach. I do not think it wise to count on always finding a tuna fish in that body of water. So I will need to reliably carry food with me. I can take some of my salted fish with me, but that will mess up my retirement savings plan. I can take potatoes with me, but I'm going to have to find the time to dig the potatoes. My work days on the days that I catch and salt fish will be 10 hours long. The days that I go fetch salt will be at least 8 hours long. I only have 10 hours of daylight to work with. So if I'm going to dig potatoes, I'm going to have to dig them at night. Fortunately, I have a torch so I can do that. At this point, it looks like catching fish will be my full-time job. And I will also have a part-time job digging potatoes at night. I will need at least 10 potatoes each week to feed me during my salt gathering trip. I am currently able to dig potatoes at the rate of 2 potatoes per hour. So if I work 1 extra hour at night on the days that I go fishing to dig potatoes for 1 hour, I should be able to work this out. After mulling all this over in my mind, I am not overjoyed with the outcome. At this point, my prospects for being able to retire will involve me working 7 days a week for 10 years. I will need to work 11-hour days for 5 days a week, a 10-hour day for 1 day a week, and at least an 8-hour day for the last day of the week. This schedule will leave no time for leisure time. I have reached one of those milestones in life where you need to make some hard decisions. Contemplating a future where I would have to work 73-hour work weeks for 10 years straight does not seem like much fun. I'm not sure working towards retirement is worth having no leisure time for 10 years. I also reflected on the discoveries I had made when I took time off from my potato digging. Not digging potatoes all day long allowed me to discover my river and to discover fish. Furthermore, taking time off from my normal daily activities also gave me an opportunity to walk over the mountains and discover my ocean. That discovery led me to tuna fish and salt. The discovery of salt led me to figure out how to salt fish and store them away for a rainy day. So I concluded that all work and no play would make Grog a dull guy. Taking time to goof off has led me to several great discoveries. I need to allow for that in my future.